And and that's such a perfect segue to Ken. It's like these spaces are all about the fire truck is right on time. These calls are all about staying relevant and developing skills. And the masterminds are all about brainstorming and really thinking about logic things and reasonable things, wins and challenges. And the Heartstorm calls, we've been calling them Hulk Smash lately. It's we meet in the heart space, we feel our feels, and we all know that feels can be felt physically, mentally, emotionally. And these calls are all about developing those skills and moving feeling to healing. So, welcome to this edition of the Heartstorm. Thanks for showing up, everybody. How are y'all doing today?
Blessed, we blessed. and yeah, and to touch on what we were talking about, what you were sharing right before the call started. So, you gotta come a little early if you want to get those those blessings. But definitely, it's so crucial to be resourceful. It's so important to be able to adapt when shit happens. Because, Ken, I cannot tell you the amount of times that we've done calls. Like, we've done the masterminds before. We've done Hearthstone as well. That we were either switching to another platform or something, and it was just like craziness. And we still managed to like make it happen. We still managed to put it together, and like I think there's so much power in that. Like, honestly, like it's so important to be able to do that. Because we easily could just be like, nah, fuck it. Like it's just not meant to be. We'll just do it next week, whatever. But we're like, no, we're gonna make it happen. And we made it happen every time. I don't think we missed a month, like in like 8 months, I think, probably, for the masterminds, if not almost a year.
It's about at that year point, man.
Love
No,
it.
you're absolutely right. And that's what I'm saying. Like in another chapter of my life, it would have been so easy to just say, all right, you know what? It's not working. It's not even worth it. Like, whatever, just leave it alone. And now, like, that applies to all areas of my life because now I look at everything that way.
Hmm.
Love it. I love it.
You know what shows up for me too, Ken, is the idea that we can do the work anywhere, anytime. It's like we stop the momentum in its tracks with the problems that we're experiencing. Yo, what up, Brian? And I find that being able to pick things up where you left off is so powerful because things change and shift so quickly. Feelings, the line in the sand seems to be moving every second. So there's a certain power to seeing where you're at right now and doing what you needed to do. That's a big part of the education. It's a big part of self-development and leadership.
Facts. So, Mr. VP, do we have a topic for today? Like, what do we want to dive into for today's Hearthstone?
Hmm. Well, I'm curious to hear from the audience, but you know me, I always have a mastermind because, president's a little bit older than me, so I gotta keep notes. Yeah. Um, there's a few things I had in mind, and Carlos, is there anything that you specifically wanted to touch on, or Brian or Ken? Is there anything that's showing up for specifically for you, Kings?
I
I want to focus more on finishing, accomplishing, what is it called, goals. I can't seem to get to the final goal. I set a goal and then I can't get to the final step. How do I overcome that feeling of like,
that's so
damn, like I
good,
can't really
bro.
get to it, man.
Bro, that's really good. Can I share some blessings?
So hey, I'm gonna mute myself real quick because I'm working.
Yeah, I hear you. So I'll share some blessings with you, and I have this like in the back of like a lot of my journals. Like I typically write it in the back of my journals. But the definition of excellence is commitment to completion. Commitment to completion. Marry those three words, bro. Marry those three words for everything in your life. I am committed to complete everything that I start. And like the very wise philosopher Kevin Hart once said, whatever we start, we finish. It's so crucial to make that decision to sit with that uncomfortability all the way up to the birthing of that new idea or the completion of whatever it is that we're starting. I know that for me, I had a hard time with the idea, and I just want to give you some blessings, Brian, because the words that you're using, like I can't complete it, is blocking you completing it. Understand that you can. You just might not know how yet. So whenever I feel like I can't complete things, I rephrase the prompt that I give my brain. Instead of like blocking my brain, telling my brain like, no, I can't complete things, start shifting it and um start leaning along the lines of um I'm the kind of person that finishes. And I started this, I'm the kind of person that finishes it, and then give yourself that evidence. I like we talk about this all the time, stack of evidence to prove to yourself that you are who you say you are. Like at the beginning, you will feel like an imposter. At the beginning, you feel like a liar, even like, why? But I don't finish. I have this and I have that, and your brain started making up all the shit. Instead, um, have that conversation with yourself, and I'm like, okay, but how could I finish it? If I really wanted to, if I give myself enough time, how could I? And then even if you don't know right away, your brain starts working behind the scenes. You plant that seed, so your brain start, and you might get it when you're in the shower, on going on a walk, filling out the fridge, whatever. That download will come to you in the right time, but you got to give your brain the opportunity to give you that solution. Because I can tell you that if we go down the list of the things that you haven't finished, we can go and check off all of those. We can literally go one by one. Okay, what do we need to do for the first one? And we outline it, we visualize it, and then we know, okay, this is what the things I need to do. Check that off. Next, check that off. Next. What I found to be helpful, just like to give you like an actionable strategy, because I've been where you are, write them down. Like write down all the things you need or have to do or you want to do. Write them all down, and then next to them on the other side, write down a number, like from most important to least important, and start freaking crossing that shit out. Start crossing that shit out. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Another topic I want to say is maybe I have too many goals. Maybe I put myself too much of a goal. I put many goals ahead. Maybe I did too many. Maybe that's why I'm not achieving the ones I really do want, and maybe the ones I really don't want are achieved more than the ones I really do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I did the same thing myself. I did the same thing myself. And what happens is, we have a limited amount of energy, and when we do that, we diffuse it. And when we diffuse the energy, it becomes very weak. Like so, we like think of water, right? Like if we just have water raining on a rock, like it would take forever for the rock to decay. But if you put that water in a jet stream, you're gonna break through that rock. So a lot of that's why I like to do what I just shared with you, having that list of things and then just nailing down that one to do thing, and then going one by one as the things instead of trying to do a million things all at once. Because people think that multitasking is a thing, but it's not real. No one can really truly multitask. Like you can go from one task to the next task, but you're as soon as you go to the next task, you have to detach from the first one, so you can't go as deep, or the amount of time that you're dedicating is not at that high quality. So I would say definitely write down the list of things that you are doing already, and start and understand that you don't have to um like well like Oprah said, you can do it all, just not all at once. So, like, when you understand that, like, then you start realizing, okay, cool, so what can I do right now? What are the biggest thing that will create the biggest impact for me right now? And driving all the way through on that till it's finished. Once it's finished, next thing. Does that make sense? Is that helpful?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with the list. I think I'm gonna just start writing things down and make sure I accomplish them before I write something else down. Maybe. Think that was a
Yeah, get them
better
done. Yeah,
strategy.
exactly.
I think it's like a
Exactly.
strategy thing.
For sure, for sure. I think Alex wants to say something as well.
Well, I love the idea of prioritization. It's so important. And when you write stuff out, it's going to kind of help you get clear as well too. And in that process, bro, just remember that iteration is so key. Like, I'll give you an example of iteration. Um, I recently just completed one of the funnels for one of my offerings for my business, in my rebrand, and I want to say that I made 55 copies of it. And like, you might say to yourself, like, oh my God, that's so many. But here's the thing, like, I did those 55 iterations over the span of like 3 months. So it's like I did it little by little. I drew it out and it took me 30 seconds. I'd look at it for a few minutes, then I'd come back to it, and then I'd go out and do work and like see if it works. So give yourself time, man. Like, just because you're not hitting that big important goal tomorrow doesn't mean you're not going to. You just got to give it time. And as I've been listening to you, you got some big goals, King, being the leader of your house, being the man of the house, like stepping into it, being independent. So give yourself that grace. Write out those lists, keep grinding, man. Keep grinding.
And I'll take it a step further with you as well. This is some of the coaching that I do with like really high level leaders. When you're doing that prioritization list, write another number next to it. So the first number is like from importance to the so 1 to 10. Like what's the most important? What's the one that's like could wait for last? And then the other number that you can put next to it, it's 1, 3, 5, or 10. That means how long do you think this goal is going to take you to achieve? It's going to take you 1 year. It's going to take you 3 years. It's going to take you 10 years. So that gives you a time frame. And that also takes a lot of the pressure off because sometimes we think, oh, I got to get this done by next year. And then you look at the goal, you're like, realistically, it's probably going to take like 10. Let me take 10 with it. And remembering that at the same time, we typically overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in 10. You can get a lot, in other words, you can get a lot more done in 10 years than you think, and you can get a lot less done in a year than you think, basically. So just keep that in mind and allow those goals to have a longer time frame. Like it just gives you a lot more like, oh, okay. Like I don't have to do this tomorrow. Like it's fine. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does. That does. I like that very much.
Got you.
I'll try to imply that in my life. Then I like that though. Thanks,
Let's
guys.
go, bro. It's all love, bro. It's all love. Ken, I want to hear from you if you don't mind. I don't know if you're able to share, but I haven't heard from you in a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm sorry for the background noise. on a heavy machine, so you're gonna hear a lot of beeping.
We can't hear anything, so you're good.
But I
Yeah,
want
for
to
real,
add
you're
to
loud and
what
clear.
Alex was just saying. Implementation, like sometimes too, you don't realize just how close you are. Sometimes I think we're too specific with goals, which is a great thing. Don't not be specific. More specific is better. But we also need to learn to be flexible and learn to maybe accept being redirected with our goals. Because I feel like kind of what Alex was saying as far as like having so many copies of the same thing, like same thing goes for a fitness journey. Sometimes we get stuck in like wanting a very, very specific result. And we don't learn to appreciate the fact that we've made so much progress and there's been so much transformation, and so to be able to give yourself grace and look at it from a different perspective of like, okay, maybe I didn't get exactly what I wanted, but if I'm looking back to where I started, like damn, I really did a lot. And I think too, like I'm kind of going through the same thing where I look at like the overall goal and I'm like, shit, like I'm so far away from where I want to be, like I'm never gonna get there. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, but 2 weeks ago I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and at least now I'm starting to like put pieces together, So it's still a big win. That's still a huge accomplishment.
Good.
Dude, I love that.
Mhm.
It what shows up for me, Ken, in that I like to add on one thing. I've noticed, guys, that whether you're trying to make $1 trillion, you're trying to travel to every country in the world, you want to be the best family man, you want 32 kids,
Are
whatever
you
it
reading
is.
my journal, bro? Like this is private information. This man crazy right now. This man
You
crazy.
guys, it, it's so interesting how it always comes down to like these little small simple action steps, like the little boring things. So like Carlos, I saw your post today and you're like, universe, help me manifest. And it's like go clean your room. It's like, damn it, I don't want to do that. And like, guys, like it's like those simple things that really prepare the stage for us to take on those bigger things. And I can't stress that enough, guys. I'm working with this guy who, by all stretch of the imaginations, is totally successful. Kids, wife, family, makes really good money, has work-life balance, and like the guy can't keep his stuff organized.
Mhm.
So it's really interesting how, we're all human and we all kind of need the same building blocks to really build ourselves up and hit those goals. And then we even surpassed them. We're like, wait, what goal was that? Like, that wasn't even a goal. That was just like a benchmark. Like, I actually got a bigger goal now.
Oh, that's so good. Can I piggyback on that? Because I love to touch on organization. Because people ask me about organization all the freaking time when it's annoying. So, uh, I'll share what I share with my high performers because this is something that I learned from my high performance coach, my like Brandon O'Shoden. Brandon O'Shoden is incredibly successful, has 5 kids, has owns a gym in Ohio. He's he's published with really high level authors. He's done amazing work with Bob Proctor, which is one of the highest level like leadership coaches to ever live, and he worked with him directly. And one of the things he taught me that really helped me with organization was that as within, so without. If there's mess in here, if your mental closet is a mess, then your surroundings are also going to be a mess. And typically you can tell by going to someone's home or going to their car what's really going on inside their head just by looking at what's going on outside their head. And I like to let people know, like, don't start like with the mental because it could be so hard, but it's a lot easier to look at the surroundings, right? And start with that environment. That's why in my book I start with the physical because what are the things that we can hold? And like, how can I change my environment? Once my environment is good, now I can actually breathe out. Okay, what's going on in here now? Now I can dive deeper into that mental closet and then do that work with the mental closet. But it's so I speaking from experience, it's so difficult to sit down and meditate when everything around you is a freaking it's chaos. Like it's really difficult because all you're gonna be thinking about like it's all the unfinished projects that you have in the corner or the stack of mail that you have left up over here or whatever it is. Like it's so important to understand that as within, so without, and typically the without is a reflection of what the fuck is happening inside. And once we start understanding that, then we start understanding why we have the results that we have in our life. Like it's a direct result of what's happening in here, especially in the subconscious. Does that make sense? I know kind of just went deep on that. This is the kind of work that I love doing. So I don't know if that makes sense though.
It's that natural law, man. It's the correspondence and it's, like what Jordan Peterson says, like organize your room first before you start insulting the world and judging the world. So it's a nice way to
I
do
love that, by
that.
the way.
Well, and today, by the way, a personal win from that, sharing straight from the heart, straight off the press today is I really organized my administrative office like today, and I didn't want to because
It's annoying, bro.
well, I
It's
had other things I wanted to do, and like I was really flexible, Ken, to your point. Like I had this goal to complete these other things that I didn't even get to today, and like I was flexible, and instead based on my goal for the day, it took me to organize my desk and my notes, and they were so disarrayed. And then I organized them all, and like everything, it was interesting that as within is without. It played hard. I'm like, oh, I see why. I saw some gaps that I had to bridge, and it was really helpful.
like that. I like that. No, that's what I'm talking about. That's a great definite like description of what I'm talking about. Like really making that time to organize your surroundings because Ain't nobody trying to do it. That's why I made the post I made today. No, what everybody has that inner conversation. Like everybody has it. I haven't met a single high performer that doesn't have that inner conversation. It's just about how do you go about that conversation? Do you, and this is how I approach it in my own mind. Do you let the inner bitch win and go and do like the shit, or do you actually go and do the dishes when you don't want to do the dishes? Because trust me, I don't want to do the dishes. Like, trust me, I don't want to do laundry. But guess what? It's gonna get done.
Carlos, is your inner bitches se llama Carla?
I should. I should. I should. He has like a weak ass voice. I can tell you that. A weak ass voice. Like, no, it's good. It's good. Just you can wait till tomorrow, and then I have no clean underwear. Then I'm mad. How am I mad? I chose not to. It's on me. Extreme ownership. Extreme ownership.
Can you step up
If
to
I if I may, it's beautiful how Alex touched on a point that I was going to mention without even me having to mention it. So in my personal life, I can say that the hardest part of reaching goals for me is usually getting started. For me, just getting the first thing done, checking off the first item is usually where I struggle. I think just distraction, motivation, all sorts of different things just pull my direction and just like my brain and like my attention, and it's just getting started is the roughest thing. And so once that first thing is checked off and you get that motivation, you get that determination, and all of a sudden the dopamine hits and you start, gaining some momentum, you may realize that the thing that you set for yourself as your main goal, all of a sudden your priority shift and you're like, I'm kind of locked in here now. So that's exactly what happened to Alex. Like there were other things on the agenda, but because he got the ball rolling with that one thing, it's like, you know what? I've been putting this off for so long. And those things that linger in our minds, we could put them off for so long, but they do pull our attention even subconsciously away from everything else that's going on. Like our lives are already such a mess. And there's always that thing in the back of our mind, like that shit hasn't gotten done yet. You got to do that thing and it doesn't go away. And so you realize, okay, I haven't been prioritizing this thing, but now that I'm in it, this is the most important thing right now. This is the essential thing because this is the thing that I've been ignoring for so long. I think that's a beautiful thing that Alex was able to fall into that.
That's what he does, bro. That's what he does. Like he's just too good. He's just too good.
the goat?
There you go, 100%. And to touch on what you're saying too, Ken, because that's a big issue that I see online. Something that I struggle with myself especially when it comes to um getting started, right? Like getting started part, like really getting over that gap, and just getting the ball rolling, like actually crossing that bridge. I know that personally, I struggle with that myself, and um, I'll tap into another Alex, right? There's another guy, Alex Hormozy, uh, who talks about how fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. And I think a lot of getting started has a lot to do with fear of what if it doesn't work out? What if, like a lot of the what ifs, right? Because we don't know till we're in it, right? And that fear looks terrifying from the outside in. Like it just like, oh my God, how? Um, but what I found is that when you step into that ocean, that's like it's an inch deep. You're like, oh shit, I don't even need to swim. Like I could walk this. Like I thought it was a lot deeper than I really thought it was, and that's why I love day one, but I love day two even more. Because day one, it's that initial barrier, right? You break into a terror barrier, you break into those limiting um beliefs, because that's really what it is. But day two is when shit gets real. Like, are you really committed to this? That's when commitment comes in. That's when discipline comes in. I think it's easy for us to get started. That's why I see a lot of men struggle with this, where they have a shit ton of unfinished projects everywhere. Like they have like this thing they start over here, then this other thing they start over here, but they don't complete it. And to me, that's a lack of willpower. That to me, that's a lack of commitment, and all of that is a skill deficit. Like this is something you develop. Willpower is a skill that you develop through repetition. Commitment is a skill that you develop through repetition. Discipline is a skill you develop through repetition. I'll say it 3 times because repetition is the mother of learning, right? And what a lot of men don't understand is like when you're missing that, that means that it's a skill deficit you have, and it's important for you to man up enough to go out there and learn whatever you need. Humble yourself enough to go and learn it. And understand that is not like your DNA or whatever. Like, no, it's just a skill deficit. You need to go and learn it, and it's not like you can't. You 100% can't. Sorry to go on that rant, but it's just shit that I'm really passionate about.
That's what these Heartstorms are all about, man. It's, we take out the thinking and we feel things and we let them move through us. And these are great reflections. And what shows up for me in your share too, getting over that terror barrier. Um, Actually, something you mentioned too, Ken, on our last Heartstorm call. But I was talking to Brian, and I think this was last week or the week before. But we were talking about being our best. And like when you start fresh, like what I gathered from our conversation is like you have trust and faith. And you might not know what it looks like, but that's why you do show up for day 2. Because I find myself not trying to control my outcomes, rather aligning to my outcomes. So when I do all that preparation work, I do the closet, like that cleaning out the closet, so to speak, and then doing the physical work, I've noticed that I the next steps of my goals become self-evident as opposed to me trying to like think about it in a like hard, like it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. It's like I just focus on doing my best and I allow myself to align to those goals. And then I find it takes a lot of the pressure off and I enjoy the process and I can actually like integrate and like gain that wisdom.
Integration, that's the name of the game. Integration, like making it your own, making it your identity. Like that's where a lot of the work lies. That's a lot of the work. And that's a lot of the pain, a lot of the uncomfortability, a lot of the suffering, and a lot of it's in there. Sometimes it's hidden behind all that shit. And that's where we got to do that inner work and that shadow work and face those demons so that we can get to the actual problems. Like we solve our like internal problems so that we can start dealing with bigger problems in the world. Like you said, Alex, clean out your room before you start complaining about the world. Because that I definitely don't have time for people who are going to complain about problems systems like problems that are in current systems or whatever, and they're not doing shit about it. I don't want to hear it. Like I don't want to hear it. Like what are we doing here? Like it's not helpful. So I'm extremely that way, but I love living that way personally. So it's a choice I make. It's a choice I make. Um, yeah, but I mean, this is a great call. This is a great call. What's coming up for you, Alex? I see you out here
Hmm.
cooking. Like what are you cooking?
Yeah, like Kings, I just want to acknowledge you all and I really appreciate everyone sharing how they're developing their skills and how to really hit goals. Because that's what these calls are about. It's about sussing things out. It's about learning from each other's experiences and feeling those feels. And I noticed that when we're able to feel our feels and develop our skills in this kind of debate, meeting, heartstorm like ish, like get together, um, it clears a lot of the stuff that needs to be cleared. So I appreciate hearing your reflections, Kings, and it's nice to hear what you guys are going through and some of the keywords that show up for me, just so we all are on the same page, because I'm a big note taker personally. We've talked about prioritization, especially when it comes to goal setting and how getting started is typically the hardest part. I love the quote that you mentioned, Carlos, is that fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. I think also that another big theme I heard is taking inventory, assessing and analyzing and getting perspective so that You can see what your actual goal is. You can be specific, but also go with the flow. Um, Organization, guys. Organization and be in action. If you're in your head or your emotions about something and you know that this is something you want to do, just do it. Do it. Shoot first and ask questions later. We also talked about consistent little action steps because that's the little screws the little cogs in the wheel are the ones that really keep it moving. And keeping those running helps the big systems run in place well too. So that's what I'm cooking up, guys. That's what I'm cooking up.
I like that. I like that. Let's talk about boring work, bro. Let's talk about boring work because we got a little bit of time here. And I think I personally believe that some of the reasons why I'm able to get a lot more done than most men is because I embrace the boring work. Um, there's a lot of men who try to microwave specific areas or and and, and avoid that they keep chasing that that woman in the red dress the thing that looks cooler and they just keep going from thing to thing. Um, but I've seen at least personally the men that I admire, the men that have made the biggest impacts all over the world are the ones that are the best at doing the boring work, showing up when they don't want to show up, doing it, like doing the thing that like the other people don't want to do. And like Kobe Bryant, that little bit of a difference or that little bit of commitment sets you apart from the rest. It doesn't a lot of the time people think that it has to be like mad drastic. It really doesn't, especially when we're talking about small systems. Like when we do a little bit more than the average human, it's really easy to get in the top 10, top 1% of most things. So I want to touch on boring work. How do you guys approach boring work? Like like what is the mindset that goes through your mind and your relationship with boring work?
If I may, I could speak.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, it gets very hard to do the hard, like the lazy work. So I just throw myself in there. I just get myself out of bed and just do it. I just say, fuck it, do it. I'd rather get it out right away than wait tomorrow and have to do it later. And then, you're gonna be even more lazier when you get to it. So for me,
It's even
just
harder.
diving right into it. For me, getting to. Work is hard. Getting out of bed, you're like, oh man, again. You just roll over and say fuck it and just get to it.
Bro, that's king shit. That's all I can think about. That's king shit. Ignoring that, avoiding that internal conversation, that back and forth, and you're just like, I don't want to do it. I just let me dive in and get it done. That's so powerful, bro. Because like you said, like when you don't, if you have to do it tomorrow, the next day, or the following week, or the following month, it's usually harder than if you would have just done it from that first time. So that's some king shit you just shared, bro. Like you dropping gems. You dropping gems. That's exactly how I approach it. Like let me just freaking do it. Let's get it
But it was
over with.
hard. Like at the
Yeah.
beginning, I was the lazy person. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to do anything. I saved it for the end, and it just made my life way worse. Once I finally noticed, you know what? If I get it done now, I don't got to worry about it later. It finally clicked for me.
Yeah,
That was the key for me.
I definitely feel you. I think Alex, I saw you. I see you. You muted yourself.
I love that, Brian. That's a good reminder for me because there's been a lot of boring work I've had to do, and I get so in my way about it. And just doing it. Just don't think about it. That's what I did with my organizing at my desk today. Um, there's a few other things that I do too. If the chatter gets to me,
Mm,
I say I tell myself what a privilege it is that you can actually be bored and your house is not on fire, Alex.
yeah, that's good.
And I'm just like, I think about, man, like so many people like grinding and literally breaking their backs in half. And like, I've done a lot of that work, don't get me wrong. And I still do. And it's such a luxury to me. Like today, like I didn't have to go and break my back. Like I, if you will, like I did a lot of boring work, but I did it in the comfort of my home, and I was curious about it too. It helps bring me curiosity. It's like this is really going to help me and my family. I bring myself back to my purpose. That's why I get the privilege to do these things.
Mm, so good, so good. I love it. I love it. I have this quote from Joe Rogan that's coming up to my mind right now. Um, Let me see if I can find it here. Let's see, where's Joe at? Yeah. So I have this on my wall in my room actually. Um, but it basically the quote, and the reason I literally have it framed like I have that quote on in my bedroom is because it's so good. He says, "Learn the joy of sucking at something." Like and I feel like that falls under the same category as, learn the joy of the boring things. Like Alex was saying, like where you have the privilege and the blessing to be bored and to like it really it's a joy that you can learn to embrace. And I found personally as a creator that in the boredness, like in those when you allow yourself to be bored, there's a lot that you can create in that void. That's where creation happens. Like that's where when you have nothing going on, where you can actually build and create. And instead of us shying away from it, just like Brian, it's so powerful to like lean into it and just freaking like do the thing. Like I know I like to count myself down, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, freaking run. And avoiding that internal conversation that's I know the brain's gonna win. Like it knows all of my weaknesses. Like it's gonna win. So why would I give it up? Like why would I give into this conversation that I'm gonna lose every time? It's gonna sell me on the Netflix show. It's gonna sell me like and it's gonna win. It's gonna win. It knows all of my weaknesses, it knows all of my trauma better than I know it myself. So it's especially when I know that something that I'm doing is in alignment with the work that I'm doing or whatever or my values and goals. I just dive in. I just get it done. And I avoid that waste of energy that comes like with that back and forth, if that makes sense. Definitely. Yeah.
If I may, I just want to
Oh no, Ken,
second
that's not
what
allowed.
Carlos says and definitely say to Brian, like, I'm right there with you, bro. Like touching upon what everybody's saying right now. Sometimes even just having the argument with yourself isn't worth it because it's like all that effort, all that energy that you're spending on trying to convince yourself otherwise. It's like it's literally just bullshit. And I found myself there half an hour, 2 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, the whole freaking day, just like, all right, here we are. It's midnight. I didn't get anything done. I've been talking this all day and then I didn't get anything done. And
And then you feel like
touching
shit.
on and you feel so horrible because
You
another
feel
thing I was going to
horrible.
say earlier is, it's so important the things that we speak into existence. We don't realize just how much power there is in our voices, in our tongues. And like when you say, like, well, Carlos, you mentioned it before, when you say that you can't do something, you don't realize just how much power that takes away from you. Versus if you were to speak something that maybe you don't even fully believe at the moment, but it's something worthwhile at the same time, like don't fake yourself out of something because every time that you lie to yourself, I feel like you're detracting from yourself. But if you can say something that maybe you don't quite believe right this second, but you could see yourself believing in some near future, like that gives you something to aim for. And try to keep in mind, like you want to speak things that you can try to fulfill on. You don't want to speak anything that you're not going to be able to commit because something that God revealed to me recently, and I wanted to even get a tattoo. I wanted to go so far because it was like, this is like the biggest problem I face in my life. And it was Deuteronomy 23:23, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have it right on me right now, but it's like, it basically just says anything that you say you will do, like do it because you're basically promising the Lord that you're going to do it. And like, imagine breaking that kind of promise. Like anything that you say, anything that just randomly you blurt out your mouth is a promise that you're making to God. And then you, by not filling that, are breaking that promise. And like today, I was reading, for example, I'm reading this book called Mind Gym. And one of the biggest things that it talks about is like, fuck what everyone else thinks. Like, it doesn't matter how people look when you win or when you lose. At the end of the day, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I did my best. And you know what that is. You know what that is when you do everything you can to the best of your ability, and you know what it is when everybody else thinks that you did, oh my God, he did so great. That's amazing. And deep down, you're like, I know I could have done more. That's a bunch of bullshit. And you live with that guilt. It's the hardest thing to have to live with, but you live with that guilt when you know that you could have done more and you didn't. And like what Alex was saying, my biggest thing, I one of the things that I value most in humanity is sacrifice. And I have a big like place in my heart for people in the military. And so I think of like all those people that came before me and that are active duty right now, and I'm like, they chose to give up the freedoms that I get to enjoy, which on certain days, like I'm gonna be up front. I don't want to get up and I want to be lazy. And then I think, and I'm like, damn, like that's not what they lost their lives for. That's not what they sacrificed, being with their families for. That's not what they sacrificed nights out clubbing. Like these are kids. These are 18, 20-year-old kids that aren't living the lives that we had the privilege of living because they felt called to do something else. And just to quickly touch upon, really quick to take up the time,
No, you're
I
killing it.
up front am bad at this, but I see the benefit now because I'm starting to implement it in a different way. But the best way to get things done when it's not Brian, like you, just like fuck it, I'm doing it, because that's powerful too, is scheduling things. When you get that notification on your phone, hey, something's coming up, like this mastermind, like everything that I've been putting in my calendar, it's like, oh, all right, whatever. Yeah, I knew it was coming, so I can't even act like I didn't know. And so now it's like, okay, get ready because this is about to happen. And if you can schedule everything that you prioritize that's important to you, you may not get all of it done, but you're certainly going to get a lot more done than things that are just floating in your head. And you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get that done. I'll do that because it
Oh,
never happens.
so good. So good. Can I piggyback on that?
Absolutely. Floor is yours.
Dude, because like that's so true. Like taking ownership of your schedule is one of the most empowering things we can do. And what's coming up for me as I hear you talk is because as we're in the the YKU conversation talking to other kings, we're gonna watch this as well. This is a quote that I hold really dear, like to my heart. I'm literally making content on this and like posting it. But it is if you don't schedule a break, your body will take one for you, and it probably won't be at a convenient time. And I think that a lot of the time men forget to schedule that break as well, and end up paying the price of putting that off, because eventually you're gonna have to pay that price. And what I found personally is that scheduling that time to rest and recover is one of the most powerful things I've done for my productivity, for my relationships, for every single part of my life. And I noticed that other people who are having a hard time are typically the ones that when I'm like, all right, show me your calendar, they don't have any rest and recovery scheduled in. And taking ownership of your calendar that way, I think is one of the bravest things we could do, because it requires for you to have hard conversations with people in your life. It requires for you to take inventory of your own life and the things that matter to you. It requires that you face like how you're spending your current time right now, because in order for you to put this thing in your calendar, you got to find out, okay, how long am I spending on Netflix? How much time am I giving to doom scrolling social media, and on and on and on, right? So like I love that you're talking about that, because yeah, I personally believe that discipline is freedom, and one of the first ways to create discipline is start with a calendar. Show me how you spend your time, and that tells me where your priorities lie.
You cooking, bro?
I just wanted to clarify too what Carlos is saying about the body scheduling the break for you. It's not very pleasant either when the
No,
body
it
decides to
sucks.
intervene and say like, "All right, you're taking a break." Because let me say, panic attacks are not fun. And when your body says, "I'm done," yeah, he or she just shuts off, and you're on your own. Figure it out.
Mm. Gang, and like that's why like what shows up is like the sleep, guys. Like no matter what, no matter how busy I get, I'm getting my 8 hours. No questions. Like it's not even a debate. and like the schedule sets the boundaries, so because it
Let's
helps
talk
you.
about that. Let's talk about the
Sure,
sleep.
sure.
But I see it a lot. And it's a conversation that a lot of people struggle with. So this is the mind frame that I go through when I'm thinking about missing sleep. Whether it's staying up watching a movie or staying up doing work or whatever that might be, the way that I see it anytime, because I have that inkling. Like for example, today I really want to do an all-nighter and just like finish with the book. But I always remind myself, like when I do that, I'm stealing from the following day. Like my capacity, the way that I'm gonna be able to show up is gonna be hindered. Like I'm taken away from the following day, and sometimes 2 days following when I do that. So did I always ask myself, because I just love using this verbiage, but like is this gonna like be blessing future Carlos, or is it gonna be playing future Carlos? How is he gonna feel about this? And then I'm like, okay. Yeah, like, and I could get a little bit of work to move forward a little bit more. But how is future Carlos going to feel tomorrow when he wakes up after sleeping for 2 hours and now he still has to get that work done and he has no energy? And that's how I go about it. But like, I want to hear from you guys because I love to share my internal like conversations because I feel like those are the most helpful for people navigating those challenges in life, if that makes sense.
Hmm. I I find that I do my best work in bursts, and that's how I work mainly. I don't work too long ever. I've set my life up in a way where I can work a few hours, I can chill for like a little bit, and I can go back and forth so that when I do have like those all-nighters, if you will, it doesn't I'm prepared for it. By the way, I don't know if I've ever done an all-nighter with work. I In college, I remember like during my final exams, they'd usually be cumulative, and everyone would go around and they'd ask me like, everyone would be like, "Oh, I'm going to study so much, I'm going to cram, I'm going to do this," and like I didn't understand that mentality because when my friends and like my fellow students would ask me like, "Oh, are you going to study a lot this weekend for the final on Monday?" I'd be like, "I'm not studying at all." They're like, and they'd be like, "What the fuck? Like, what are you talking about?" I'm like, "You guys, this is cumulative. I've been studying for 3 months. Like, I'm gonna take the weekend off and chill."
Yeah.
I already did my studying, and I studied for 3 months, little by
Yeah,
little,
and dude, I'm the same way, and I notice I smoke everybody on exams. Like everybody's just always stressing, and like they do worse than I do, and they
Yeah.
spend more time, more hours back to back studying, but they're just cramming, like you said. Meanwhile, I take the entire 3 months to absorb the information, to understand the concepts, to ask questions with the instructor, to like
Yeah.
really understand what is it that we're learning in this class. So whatever the exam comes, because it's just a test of the information we covered, right? I'm not concerned. I'm like, I've been reading the shit. Like I've been studying, I've been doing the assignments, I've been getting good grade on the assignments, I've been following along. And I've noticed like a lot of my colleagues and a lot of the people that I've studied with, they lose their shit like a week or two before exams. And like you, I'm like, okay, I'll study, like I'll review a little bit, but it would be a review. It won't be like I'm freaking losing my mind and giving 8 hours to doing that shit. Because yeah, it's just an irrational way of learning. But that's how most people do it. Like that's what I just noticed. Like, that's how most people go about it. And then of course I understand the concepts better than you do. Duh. Like, of
Mhm.
course.
Yeah, it's no big deal, right? It's a final exam. It's no big deal. That's my mindset. No big deal. No big deal. Little by little, bit by bit.
A little bit. Seriously. Yeah, I'm loving this. I'm loving this. So yeah, I mean, we covered a lot of amazing stuff in this call. I know we have like 5 more minutes. What's still in your hearts, Kings, before we jump off? Because I definitely want to make sure we round it up beautifully. But Brian, Alex, Ken, anything that we want to touch on before we end the call?
You Kings, go ahead. I'll share. I'll share in a little bit.
Well, I wanted to touch up on the what I talked to Alex about what's it called? Fasting.
Mm,
I did a fast last week. Was it last week or was it this last week? I did it last week for 3 days. I tried to do it for a week, but I couldn't. You know, I thought it was gonna be easier than I thought, but it wasn't. You know,
hard. It's
my
hard.
body's used to eating. My body's used to eating, drinking water, doing a lot of stuff. So, what do you guys think I should do next time when I should do it again?
So honestly, 3 days is a great start. Most people don't get past two, bro. So the fact that you did three, that you're already above average. I can tell you that I'm actually like in the process of because I like to time it with my grocery shopping whenever I'm doing a fast.
Mm.
But I typically do 3 days, and I do water fast where all I do is drink water. But I also understand what happens during a fast, right? So I prepare for it, understanding that day two, I'm gonna have no energy. I'm gonna be irritable as fuck. Like people are gonna say some shit that's gonna get under my skin quicker. But personally, I like to do two 3 day water fast a year. And I typically try to fast from other things as well when I'm doing that, and it really just helps me to like really clear out my body, really cleanse the kidneys, cleanse the liver. Um, I of course recommend throwing a little bit of salt in there for electrolytes or another source of electrolytes that's not gonna really fuck up the fast. Um, but I've done a lot of fast, and it's also recommended where you can just do water. Make sure that you're not look at your pee, make sure it's not just clear, right? Like you gotta make sure you have a little bit of yellow in there. And that way you're not overhydrating. But personally, I like to do 3 days. And if you already did 3 days, you can do it. Another important part of it though is how you break the fast. It because and this is why a lot of people fail to do the fast, and then as soon as they break it, they go right back in the same routine where they were doing before. Instead, nourish your body. Like the first thing that touches my lips when I eat again is high quality organic food. Like and literally, whether it's a steak, something that I enjoy, right? Something that I like whether it's a steak or even French fries, whatever. But I make sure it's high quality using like high quality ingredients so that my body gets used to that. So my body knows what it feels like when I'm eating healthy, and that gives you a really good judgment as to how your body's supposed to feel. Because then when you're eating like shit, then you're like, oh, look how I'm literally going the wrong way. I'm like I want to feel this way, but when I do this, I'm going this way. So it's easier for me to be like, okay, let me get back on track. So that's the advice I would give you when it comes to fasting. If you've done it already for 3 days, that means you can do it. Set a timer and commit to it like that, don't do it 7 days because clearly it's heavy, but start with three and commit to completion. Prove to yourself that you can get shit done, that you're the kind of person that goes all of the hours that you say you're going to do, and then reward yourself with a really nice healthy meal, that you can just let your body absorb. That's what I would recommend. But Alex, I'd love to hear from you as well. I know you've been doing fasting for some time too.
Yes to everything you said, Carlos. Brian, kudos to you. Um, Fasting is really a spiritual activity. It's not for weight loss. Don't do it for weight loss. It's a spiritual activity.
Mhm.
I think coming off of it is super important. Preparing for it is really important. The other thing that shows up for me too, if possible, when you're fasting, um, don't do what you normally do. Take a
Yes.
day off or two, so you can reallocate your energy. Now, if you need to be a fucking badass and do it while you work, I've done that too. I totally
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
But see if you can get some reflection time, spend time outside, journal. Because you're gonna get irritated as fuck, and then
Yeah.
your body's gonna want to react quick.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to spot those reactions, and that's what fasting is it's taking everything away. So then what you need to look at becomes so painstakingly obvious.
Yeah, and that's so good. And I love what you're saying, Alex, because when you're fasting, you also realize how much more time you have because we spend so much time preparing food, getting food, and eating food. So when you remove food from your schedule, you just give yourself three extra hours. What the fuck are you gonna do in those 3 hours? Right? So like give yourself shit to do. Like understand that you're gonna have extra time. And if the universe hates a void, and if you don't fill that void with something that's gonna support you, like the stuff that Alex outlined, you're gonna end up like going back to or doing other shit like to fill the void. You're gonna end up smoking more or doing more Netflix, or you're gonna fill it up with something else. So like Alex said, prepare for that and use that time wisely. Bro, there's no better time to meditate than when you're fasting. There's no better time to meditate because you're really tapping with you. But there's no food talking to your brain and disrupting everything. It's just you and the universe. Like it doesn't get clear. Like you hear the voice of the universe and God, whatever you want to call it, the clears when you are in a fast. I like to also pair my fast with like social media fast sometimes. But I wouldn't recommend to start there because those are a lot more intense. Like if you're doing a food fast, get good at those, and then you can start adding more stuff to it. But be mindful that all those other things are gonna become more like you're gonna want to do something else to fill that void. Sit in that void, sit in that uncomfortableness. Journal, like you said, you're gonna do. This is the perfect time for you to really journal, put down the priorities that you talked about at the beginning of this call. Like literally take that time and like really tap in with yourself. And you'll see, bro, all of the you're gonna get so much more clarity. That's one of the things that most people are missing because they're so disconnected with their body. But fast is gonna force you to sit with yourself if you allow it, if you give it permission. So give it permission and prepare to have frustration, prepare for having extra time and filling it. Get some books, like prepare some books on the side. You're like, because you're gonna want to eat or do something, right? Bro, you go on social media and everything is food. When you're in a fast, everything is freaking food. Right now, you feel me on that. So, but that means that makes it easier for me because I'm like, I gotta put this down. I'm like, I don't even want to look at this shit. All you think about, oh my God, the steak channel just becomes my favorite thing, all this stuff. So prepare for that, right? Like act accordingly, know that like, okay, so this is what's gonna happen when I do it. So like Alex said, if you can do it on like if you can have day 2 and even possibly day 3 be your days off of work, best. That way you can go and do your thing or freaking clean your closet out, like lift the bed and clean under there, like go through your closet and throw out the stuff that you don't even need anymore, donate the stuff that you can, like use that time like as like a cleanse of your life. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
and I'm
sure it
planning on
does.
doing one. So if you want to, like, if you want, we could get a little group chat going and ask who else wants to do it, and we'll do a little 3 day water fast all together. Because I was planning for after Saturday because I'm watching the fights, but starting Sunday, starting
That's what I was
Sunday.
thinking too.
Okay, yeah. So I don't like to start Monday, but we can start Sunday and go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Mondays are my slow day though. So if you have work, we can maybe even push it a little bit further. Like, how
No,
would you
I
feel about that?
I did the 3 day fast during work, and it
Okay,
was
yeah.
it was pretty good. The
Okay.
frustration did really get to me because the
Yeah.
customers here, sometimes you get
Yeah.
a little
It's a good
crazy, so
test.
it did get to me. But I asked for patience, and it comes.
It
But
comes.
yeah,
Okay.
I could definitely do it Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Okay. There you go. So
Mhm.
I'll start the group chat like with the two of us and we'll put it out there, whoever wants to do it with us.
I'm
I'd be
And
down
down.
for that. That sounds so
yeah,
cool. I
and then
think
that way we
that'd
can
be really
I'm
cool
thinking
to
that.
all like be able to share and touch on different points while we're going through it together. That'd be really awesome.
you in, Ken? It sounds like Kenny's also in. That's 3.
Eh, sounds
Make
like
it
a yes.
4. I'm in, guys. I'm in.
There you go. There
I'm
you
in,
go.
guys.
Yeah, we'll drop
I'm
it.
in.
We'll drop it in the group chat. We'll drop it on there, and we'll create the group chat on school. Like we'll make it the 3 day water fast. Um, yeah, and we'll have a timer. Like I have I like when I ever do a fast, I have like the countdown clocks, and every time I feel like I just go back and I'm like, okay, just a day and 23 hours and 23 seconds. Like I just so I can like keep my shit together. Yeah, well, that's perfect. Okay, beautiful. So we'll get that going starting this Sunday. So enjoy yourselves. I'm make sure that you're not eating shit food on the way all the way up to like try to start the cleanse like little by little so that your body's nourished as you go into the fast, right? So that you're not like fighting against everything that you did. Instead, you're like you already started to eat pretty healthy, started to go down on the meal on the portion sizes. So it's a little bit easier on your stomach, a little bit easier on the transition. But yeah, 3 day water fast sounds good to me. I'm fucking about it. I love that you guys are about it too. And we're past the time, just so you know. We'll wrap it up here. If you're watching this and you're watching this like after, join us or do your own and start your group like we did here and like understand the power of a fast because there's a lot of science behind it. And that shit is powerful. It's literally allowing your body to heal. Like you're just giving your body like the opportunity to heal because like it does it by itself. But yeah, I mean I think that's a wrap, right? Like can we land the plane?
Hmm. Let's land the plane. Brian, Ken, Carlos, as always, brothers, thanks so much for inspiring me. These calls are really great. It's great to hear from you all. And the last thing I'll share is these calls remind me of when I met Carlos and like the work that we're doing together. And what the work, the visual is Carlos is the mental guy, I'm the physical guy. I'm down in the guts, he's up in the head. And he knows the guts too. He does the movement, and I know the brain, and we're all meeting in the heart. The heart is what we feel. And as men, that connects our head to our guts. And guys, the gem that I have today is that the Hulk is green for a reason. That brother uses deadly force when necessary, but he never is violent. He stands for righteousness and good. And as men, I love that as an example because we defend what's right and we stand up to what's wrong, but we're never violent, but we're strong and competent. So that's what always shows up for me on this call. I always feel all your hearts. So appreciate that today, gang.
All love, my brother, all love. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your week, Kings, and we'll see you guys again next week. Same time, same place.
Peace out,
Thank you,
guys.
yo. Thank you. I
Yeah,
got Sean
thank you.
O'Malley. All right, remember.